Hello friends, welcome to i-TUTOR NCERT series. Today we are going to discuss Class 12 Geography NCERT Fundamentals of Human Geography Chapter 6 Tertiary and Quaternary Activities. There are many professionals who provide their services against payment of the fee. Thus, all types of services are special skilled provided in exchange of payments. Health, education, law, governance, and recreation, etc. require professional skills. These services require other theoretical knowledge and practical training. Tertiary activities are related to service sector. Okay, so the tertiary activities that is related to the service sector. So last class we discussed about the primary activities and the secondary activities. Okay, primary activities including the agriculture and other industries, and the secondary activities including manufacturing sector. Here the tertiary activities that is related to the service sector. Manpower is an important component of the service sector as most of the tertiary activities are performed by skilled laborers, professionally trained experts, and consultants. In the initial stages of economic development, a larger proportion of people worked in the primary sector. In a developed economy, the majority of workers get employment in tertiary activity and a moderate proportion is employed in the secondary sector. Tertiary activities including both production and exchange. The production involves the provision of services that are consumed. The output is indirectly measured in terms of wages and salaries. Exchange involves trade, transport, and communication facilities that are used to overcome distance. Tertiary activities therefore involve the commercial output of services rather than the production of tangible goods. They are not directly involved in the processing of physical raw materials. Okay, so they are not directly involved in the processing of physical raw materials. Common examples are the work of a plumber, electrician, technician, launderer, barber, shopkeeper, driver, cashier, teacher, doctor, lawyer, and publisher, etc. The main difference between secondary activities and tertiary activities is the expertise provided by the service relies more heavily on specialized skills, experience, and knowledge of the workers rather than on the production techniques, machinery, and factory process. Okay, so they were also known the production techniques, machinery, and the factory processes. Now, types of tertiary activities. Trade, transport, communication, and services are some of the tertiary activities discussed in this section. Okay, so the trade, transport, communication, and services. First one, trade and commerce. Trade is essentially buying and selling of items produced elsewhere. Okay, so what is called trade? It's essentially buying and selling items produced elsewhere. All the services in retail and wholesale trading or commerce are specifically intended for profit. Okay, so everything is for profit. The towns and cities where all these works take place are known as trading centers. Okay, so the towns and the cities where all these works take place. So these places are known as trading centers. The rise of trading from barter at the local level to money exchange of international scale has produced many centers and institutions such as trading centers or collection and distribution points. Trading centers may be divided into rural and urban marketing centers. Okay, so these trading centers can be further divided into rural and the urban centers. So rural marketing centers cater to nearby settlements. These are quasi-urban centers. They serve as trading centers of the most rudimentary type. Here, personal and professional services are not well developed. Okay, so in the rural marketing, here the personal and the professional service that are not well developed. These form local collecting and distributing centers. Most of these have mandis, that is wholesale markets, and also retailing areas. Okay, so they have both wholesale as well as retail areas. They are not urban centers, but are significant centers for making available goods and services which are most frequently demanded by rural folk. Now, periodic markets in rural areas are found where there are no regular markets and local periodic markets are organized at different temporal intervals. These may be weekly by weekly markets from where people from the surrounding areas meet their temporarily accumulated demands. These markets are held on specified dates and move from one place to another. The shopkeepers thus remain busy on all these days while a large area is served by them. Now, urban marketing centers have more widely specialized urban services. They provide ordinary goods and services as well as many of the specialized goods and services required by people. Urban centers therefore offer manufactured goods as well as many specialized market develop. Example, markets for labor, housing, semi or furnished products. Surveys of educational institutions and professionals such as teachers, lawyers, consultants, physicians, dentists and veterinary doctors are available. Now, retail trading. This is the business activity concerned with the sale of goods directly to the consumers. Most of the retail trading takes place in fixed establishments or stores solely devoting to selling. Street peddling, handcraft, trucks, door-to-door, mail order, telephone, automatic vending machines and internets are examples of non-store retailing trading. Okay, now next one is wholesale trading. Wholesale trading constitutes bulk business through numerous intermediary merchants and supply houses and not through retail stores. Okay, so what is called wholesale trading? It constitutes bulk business through numerous intermediary merchants and supply houses and not through retail stores. Some large stores including chain stores are able to buy directly from the manufacturer. However, most retail stores procure supplies from an intermediary source. Wholesalers often extend credit to retail stores to such an extent that the retailer operates very largely on the wholesaler's capital. Okay, next one is transport. Transport is a service or facility by which people, material and manufactured goods are physically carried from one location to another. Okay, so what is called transport? It's a service or facility by which people, material and the manufacturing goods they are physically carried from one place to the other or one location to another. It is an organized industry created to satisfy man's basic need of mobility. Modern society requires speedy and efficient transport system. Okay, so we need speedy and efficient transport system to assist in the production, distribution and consumption of goods. At every stage in this complex system, the value of the material is significantly enhanced by transportation. Transport distance can be measured as kilometer distance or actual distance of route length, time distance or the time taken to travel on a particular route and the cost distance or the expense of traveling on a route. In selecting the mode of transport, distance in terms of time or cost is the determining factor. Isochrone lines are drawn on the isochrone lines. They are drawn on the map to join places equal in terms of the time taken to reach them. Okay, so isochrone, they are lines which are drawn on a map to join places that is equal in terms of the time taken to reach them. Now, what are the factors affecting transport? Demand for transport is influenced by the size of population. The larger the population size, the greater is the demand for transport. Okay, the larger the population size, the greater the transport demand. Routes depend on location of cities, towns, villages, industrial centers and raw materials, pattern of trade between them, nature of the landscape between them, type of climate and funds available for overcoming obstacles along the length of the route. Next one is communication. Communication services involves the transmission of words and messages, facts and ideas. The invention of writing preserved messages and helped to make communication dependent on means of transport. These were actually carried by hand, animals, boat, road, rail and air. That's why all forms of transport are also referred to as lines of communication. Okay, so all forms of transport, they are also referred to as lines of communication. Where the transport network is efficient, communications are easily disseminated. Certain developments such as mobile telephony and satellites have made communications independent of transport. All forms are not fully disassociated because of the cheapness of the order system. Thus, very large volumes of mail continue to be handled by post offices all over the world. Some of the communication services are discussed below. Okay, so first one, the telecommunications. The use of the telecommunications is linked to development of modern technology. It has revolutionized communications because of the speed with which messages are sent. Okay, the time reduced is from weeks to minutes. Okay, so the telecommunication reduces the time from weeks to minutes. Besides, the recent advancements like mobile telephony have made communications direct and instantaneous at any time and from anywhere. The telegraph, Morse code and telex have almost become things of the past. Radio and television also helps to relay news, pictures and telephone calls to vast audiences around the world, and hence they are termed as mass media. Okay, so these things, or the radio, television, etc., these are called mass media. They are vital for advertising and entertainment. Newspapers are able to cover events in all corners of the world. Satellite communication relays information of the Earth and from space. The internet has truly revolutionized the global communication system. Okay, so the invention of internet or the introduce of internet, they has all truly revolutionized the global communication system. Now services. Services occur at many different levels. Some are geared to industry, some to people, and some to both industry and people. Example, the transport system. Low order services such as grocery shops and laundries are more common and widespread than higher order services or more specialized ones like those of accountants, consultants, and physicians. Services are provided to individual consumers who can afford to pay for them. For example, the gardener, the laundress, and the barber do primarily physical labor. Teachers, lawyers, physicians, musicians, and others perform mental labor. Many services have now been regulated, making and maintaining highways and bridges, maintaining firefighting departments, and supplying or supervising education and customer care are among the important services most often supervised or performed by government or companies. State and union legislations have established corporations to supervise and control the marketing of such services as transport, telecommunication, energy, and water supply. Professional services are primarily healthcare, engineering, law, and management. The location of recreational and entertainment services depend on the market. Multiplexes and restaurants might find locations within or near the central business district, whereas a golf courses would choose a site where land costs are lower than the CBD, that is Central Business District. Personal services are made available to the people to facilitate their work in daily life. The workers migrate from rural areas in search of employment and are unskilled. They are employed in domestic services as housekeepers, cooks, and gardeners. This segment of workers is generally unorganized. One such example in India is the Mumbai's Dabbawala, that is tiffin service provided to about 1,75,000 customers all over the city. Now, people engaged in tertiary activities. Today, most people are service workers. Services are provided in all societies. But in more developed countries, a higher percentage of workers is employed in providing services as compared to less developed countries. The trend in employment in this sector has been increasing while it has remained unchanged or decreasing in the primary and secondary activities. Now, some selected examples. First one is tourism. Tourism is travel undertaken for purpose of recreation rather than business. Okay, so it's a travel undertaken for purpose of recreation rather than business. It has become the world's single largest tertiary activity in the total registered jobs, that is 250 millions, and the total revenue, 40% of the total GDP. Okay, that by the tourism. Besides, many local persons are employed to provide services like accommodation, meals, transport, entertainment, and special shops serving the tourist. Tourism fosters the growth of infrastructure industries, retail trading, and craft industries, that is, sovereigns. In some regions, tourism is seasonal because the vacation period is dependent on the favorable weather conditions, but many regions attract visitors all the year round. Tourist regions. The warmer places around the Mediterranean coast and the west coast of India are some of the popular tourist destinations of the world. Okay, so the Mediterranean coast and the west coast of India, this is some of the popular tourist destination. Other include winter sports regions found mainly in mountainous areas and the various scenic landscapes and the national parks which are scattered. Historic towns also attract tourists because of the monument, heritage sites and cultural activities. Okay, now next one is tourist attractions. First one, climate. Most people from colder regions expect to have warm, sunny weather for beach holidays. This is one of the main reasons for the importance of tourism in the southern Europe and the Mediterranean lands. The Mediterranean climate offers almost consistently higher temperatures than in other parts of the Europe, long hours of sunshine and low rainfall throughout the peak holiday season. People taking winter holidays have specific climatic requirements, either higher temperatures than their own homelands or snow covers suitable for skiing. Next one is a landscape. Many people like to spend their holidays in an attractive environment, which often means mountains, lakes, spectacular sea coast, and landscapes not completely altered by man. Next one is history and art. The history and art of an area have a potential attractiveness. People visit ancient or picturesque towns and archaeological sites and enjoy exploring castles, palaces, and churches. Now, culture and economy. These attract tourists with a penchant for experiencing ethnic and local customs. Besides, if a region provides for the needs of tourists at a cheap cost, it is likely to become very popular. Homestay has emerged as a profitable business, such as heritage homes in Goa, Madikeri, and Coorg in Karnataka. Now, medical services for overseas patients in India. About 55,000 patients from USA visited India in 2005 for treatment. This is still a small number compared with the millions of surgeries performed each year in the US healthcare system. India has emerged as the leading country of medical tourism in the world. World-class hospitals located in metropolitan cities cater to patients all over the world. Medical tourism brings abundant benefits to developing countries like India, Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia. Beyond medical tourism is the trend of outsourcing of medical tests and data interpretation. Hospitals in India, Switzerland, and Australia have been performing certain medical services, ranging from reading radiology images to interpreting magnetic resonance images, that is MRI, okay, magnetic resonance images, and ultrasound tests. Outsourcing hold tremendous advantages for patients if it is focused on improving quality or providing specialized care. So that's about the tertiary sectors. Next one, quaternary activities. There's a question. What do a CEO of an MNC, multinational companies in Copenhagen, at the New York, and the medical transcriptionist at Bangalore have in common? So, all these people work in a segment of the service sector that is knowledge oriented. So, this sector can be divided into quaternary and quinary activities. Quaternary activities involve some of the following: that is the collection, production, and dissemination of information, or even the production of information. Quaternary activity centers around research, development, and may be seen as an advanced form of services involving specialized knowledge and technical skills. Now, quinary activities. The highest level of decision makers or policy makers perform culinary activities. These are subtly differ from the knowledge-based industries that the culinary sector in general deals with. Now, outsourcing has resulted in the opening of a large number of the call centers in India, China, Eastern Europe, Israel, Philippines, and Costa Rica. It has created new jobs in these countries. Outsourcing is coming to those countries where cheap and skilled workers are available. These are also out-migration countries. With the work available, though outsourcing, the migration in these countries may come down. Outsourcing countries are facing resistance from job-seeking youth in their respective countries. The comparative advantage is the main reason for the continuing outsourcing. New trends in culinary service include knowledge processing outsourcing, that is KPO, and home shoring, the latter as an alternative to outsourcing. The KPO industries is distinct from business process outsourcing, that is the BPO, as it involves highly skilled workers. Okay, so it involves highly skilled workers. The BPO involves highly skilled workers. It is information driven knowledge outsourcing. Okay, KPO enables companies to create additional business opportunities. Examples of KPOs including research and development, that is R&D activities, then e-learning, business research, intellectual property research, legal profession, and banking sector. Now the digital divide. What is digital divide? Opportunities emerging from the information and communication technology based development is unevenly distributed across the globe. There are wide-ranging economic, political, and social differences among countries. How quickly countries can provide ICT accesses and benefits to its citizens is the deciding factor. While developed countries in general have surged forward, the developing countries have lagged behind, and this is known as the digital divide. Okay, the developed countries in general have surged forward, but the developing countries have lagged behind, and this is known as the digital divide. Similarly, digital divides exist within countries. For example, in a large country like India or Russia, it is inevitable that certain areas like metropolitan centers possess better connectivity and access to the digital world versus peripheral rural areas. Okay, so in some countries like India or Russia, there is two types. First one, the metropolitan centers that possess better connectivity and access to the digital world, but at the same time there are also peripheral rural areas. Okay, so that's the digital divide. So that's about the chapter. If you have any doubts, you can comment below. For more videos, do like, share, subscribe.